Alright YouTube, for this vlog we'll be doing a review of the Evil Dead Burn movie, which just came out today. I saw it, I loved it, I can't wait to give the spoiler-free review. So, funny enough, the background and place I'm in now is like sort of the Evil Dead vibe. Well, not really, because it's just sort of like, cabin vibe in the basement, but hopefully nothing evil spiritual realms come to the ear. So yeah, that was besides the point. So overall, a great addition to the franchise, and supposedly early reactions are calling it one of the best in the franchise, which I agree with, although I will admit I haven't seen a lot of these movies yet. I have seen Evil Dead 2, of course, and this one just now, but think about it, that's a whopping 2 of several other movies, because I know there's Evil Dead Rise and the 2013 one, and then the Army of Darkness, and of course the first Evil Dead, which ironically I have not seen yet. But overall, it's a franchise that really intrigues me, and something about this movie, the marketing that appealed to me was, I remember reading a comment saying something like, there was like almost nothing was known about this movie, or no really images, and like only a tiny teaser came out, I remember a while ago. But fortunately, the movie did its job well, and despite having not a lot out there, it still is looking to be a big hit, which I'm really happy about. But enough of the introduction, I want to talk about the movie itself. It starts out, like I said, spoiler for review, but I will go into some details that these two characters are in a lake fishing, and that's when everything goes wrong. But these two characters we see in the beginning, as you can imagine, do not last long, and it's actually, those things where two characters in the beginning and then we never see or hear about them again. So that kind of thing, but it ultimately does make sense little bit by little as the plot rolls on, which I really liked. And I really liked a lot of these characters too, especially with a lot of the things that happened with the previous Evil Dead movies, or Evil Dead Realm, Evil Dead World in the movies. And I'm so bad at speaking sometimes. The main character, what's his name, Joseph, he actually, I don't know why, but he reminded me of myself, and I felt like he kind of looked like me. So if you guys see the movie, let me know if I look like him or not, I don't know. But yeah, his dynamic was really cool, especially with his brother, who is like, ultimately the villain-ish sort of character of the movie, or at least, to say the least, he sort of is, a big motive for the villains that later come in. So yeah, it's hard for me to go into like, not too much spoilers, so I better like stop talking too much about the plot before I inadvertently spoil it. So I'll say the movie is definitely the scariest of the franchise I can imagine, which so far, that's one thing I have seen the early reaction say, is it's the scariest in the franchise, even if it's not the best. And I know I haven't seen the other ones, so I am, probably going, oh well, absolutely going out on a limb saying I can imagine this is the scariest of the franchise. But even still, it still was able to be just to the edge of like, just being obscure, but also very graphic and grotesque. So it was also fun experience to hear like, the audience have like ooh or like ooh kind of reactions, especially like, there are also a few funny moments in the movie, but comes like a really really old character, like a grandma, like literally the grandma in the movie. And I was worried at some points that maybe her character was going to be like, forced comedy or forced like, wacky lines, and some of the lines were absolutely wacky, but fortunately they weren't like, shoved in there and just like, shoehorned comedy. Like, not that I was really worried about that would happen in this movie, but it's just, worth noting that if you see the grandma make a corny joke, and no, the movie's not going to be like that, so the rest of the movie, so don't fear that. But there is lots to fear about this movie as it goes on. That's how I'm gonna conclude for the plot details. So circling back, it does also give me a lot of intriguing, elements of horror gore, and I do wonder if the original character Ash Bruce Campbell was a character in the same universe. I mean, he has to be, but like, where is he? Maybe I'm just like, I don't know, like not up to date, which I'm probably not. But yeah, overall, this movie is definitely a great summer horror movie. I'm really excited to continue this franchise, and yes, it definitely ends on a note for more movies, I will say that. So overall, great movie. And one final thing I want to say is I also enjoy the inclusion of a lot of French music through the movie, and especially towards credits, which is a French, like, it seemed like a rap song type of music to me. So yeah, there are also elements of France to the movie a little bit. So yeah, I gotta conclude now. So overall, awesome horror movie. Sad I can't talk too much about the plot without accidentally giving it away, but definitely see this movie if you can, and stay tuned for more vlogs of mine. Goodbye.